Welcome to another live Hogs vlog. And Australia, they have been kicked out of the World Cup. We all know that, and I'm disappointed with it. But they deserve to be kicked out of the World Cup because they weren't prepared beforehand. The coach did come out and make a statement earlier on before the tournament started that they were a little bit worn out because of all the travel around the world. But you're the coach. You got to prepare your troops for the main event. So it was a little bit of a misjudgment in the preparation leading into the tournament that cost Australia any chance of playing in the finals. But we've got 4 finalists, and they're the talking points today, as well as Karthik or Pant. Which one should be in the Indian team? That's what we're going to talk about. So roll bumper, please, Shubs. Righty, guys, we're going to get straight into it. It's Pakistan versus New Zealand. That's the first final. That's today. That's in Sydney. So it's going to be an absolute ripper. And they're playing on the wicket that is flat, the one that New Zealand absolutely caned Australia with in the first game. Finn made a brilliant 50 and just took the game, or 40-odd, against the pace attack with the new ball of Australia and just blew Australia out of the competition there and then. But today it's Pakistan versus New Zealand. In the middle overs, this is the overs between 7 and 15. This is where it gets really competitive when New Zealand bat. They have been the most dominant in this period. But Pakistan have been the best bowling attack through this particular period as well. And we've got Shadab Khan bowling in this period with the leg spin. He's got most wickets. So New Zealand are going to be put under pressure in this particular phase. The other thing here is Phillips has made most runs in this phase, but he got dropped twice in the 2 games where he dominated. Against England, he got dropped when he was on 15. That was off 10 balls. The next 26 balls, he scored 47. And against Sri Lanka on this pitch, he got dropped when he was on 12 off 14. And then the next 50 deliveries went for 92, and that's when he got his 100. So Pakistan, if you want to control this phase, you've got to take your catches if Phillips gives you that opportunity. The other particular scenario through there as well is that you've got Mitchell. If Pakistan can expose Mitchell early, then Shadab Khan can really get on top of New Zealand because Mitchell really struggles against leg spin and struggles against Shadab Khan. When we go over to Pakistan batting against New Zealand in this particular period, Santner and Sodhi are very economical through this scenario. And will Pakistan bring in Shadab Khan to try and take on those 2 spinners and make Williamson change his game plan and hopefully bowl those 2 particular bowlers out the back end where they can have a little bit more ease in those final stages to really capitalise on the run rate. Now, the second point in this game is Rizwan and Babar Azam up against the swing of Bolt and Southee. This is a major contest to set this game up. Southee and Bolt will look to bowl fuller. The Pakistan batsmen, especially the opening batsmen, have really struggled on a test match length. So this is where I'm going to look forward to see if the New Zealand bowlers change their tack and go to a shorter of a length rather than that full length looking for the swing. So Babar Azam and Rizwan are going to have plenty of opportunities to find boundaries. They're going to take it on. But is the swing going to get the outside edge? If it does, then the middle order will come out early on in that first 6 overs, taking on the swing of Bolt and Rizwan and have other opportunities to take on boundaries as well. So it's a bit of cat and mouse there with the ball. Are New Zealand going to go to that good length, which Pakistan really struggle against? And then when we go to the death overs, this is a big scenario too for New Zealand. You've got Phillips, Mitchell, Neesham, who are very explosive in that back end. And they're up against Rauf, Shaheem and Wasim, 3 quality death bowlers. I'm looking forward to that contest. I think the bowling attack will just be too good for that batting lineup. And also, I'll be interested to see if Babar Azam saves an over or 2 to have against Mitchell in that back end as well, knowing that Mitchell struggles against spin? And will he use Nawaz in those middle overs to counteract that change of game plan and not using Shadab in the middle overs? So for me, Pakistan, New Zealand, I think we've got luck on your side. That's the theme of this game. Pakistan thought they were done and dusted. South Africa got beaten by the Netherlands. Then all of a sudden the energy ramped up. They beat Bangladesh. They through to the finals, and I think they're going to win. And they'll be playing on the big stage out the MCG. So let's go over to the next final and who will play against Pakistan out the MCG if it comes to fruition. And the theme of this game is rise and fall. At the start of the tournament, I didn't think India were going to get to the final. I thought they might get to the semi-finals, but I thought they were lacking in their bowling department because Boomer wasn't there, Jadeja wasn't there. So they have lifted the bowling department like Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Arshdeep Singh have really lifted and taken the void of the missing Boomer. So India have risen, England have fallen. They haven't been as dominant as what they were in the pre-game scenarios when they were playing against Australia. So they've fallen off a bit. But the big contest that I'm looking forward to here, if England are going to knock off India, they have to have Wood bowling 4 overs out Kohli and Surya Kumar Yadav, hoping that the other bowlers do pick up KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma in that early phase. So Wood's got to have 4 strong overs up his sleeve against Surya Kumar Yadav and Kohli. And when he's bowling to Kohli, he's got to try and have a gap very square out Adelaide on the short boundaries and try and get Kohli to play squarer rather than playing the V, which he loves. And with his extra pace there, and every now and then the Adelaide pitch just skidding a little bit more than other surfaces around Australia, he might be able to get Kohli LBW or bowled where he's trying to play square. So that is the big matchup up front. When it comes to England's bowling in the death, they're using Sam Curran a lot. Now, Sam Curran has got a very good economy rate out the back end through this tournament, but he hasn't bowled to the top 6 much in any game. So if you can have either Kohli, Surya Kumar Yadav out the back end with a Hardik Pandya, I think India can really capitalise on there and get an extra 20 or 30 runs on the board. And instead of having a total of about 170 if they bat first, or even in the run chase, if they have 40 up their sleeve off those last 3 overs, attacking Sam Curran, I think they'll be able to do it. So there's an extra 20 to 40 runs there against Sam Curran in those final 2 overs. And the other crucial contest here is Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Arshdeep Singh with the new ball. They're getting it to swing both ways. They have not been hit for that many boundaries in the power play phase, and they get up against Butler, Hales. If they get those early breakthroughs, there's no Milan at the moment. He's injured. He might not play, and that's going to expose a middle order that gets protected from Milan when things get tough. So this game here, with all those contests, I just think India are going to be way too good for England. England supporters out there, I had you as the favourites at the start of the tournament, but right now you've dropped off, and you're very lucky that you didn't play that game that was washed off against Australia early on in the tournament. That could have changed a few things up too, but I still think you would have beaten Australia there, even though you got beaten by Ireland early on. Next talking point, please, subs. God, we've gone for 9 minutes, so I've got to hurry up. And this is Pant and Karthik. I am going to talk quickly about this one. Pant as an option, I think going into these tournaments, into the finals, I think it's good. He's been sitting on the wings. He's waited his turn. So that's the theme of these 2 keepers, waiting your turn. Pant's waited his turn. I think you can utilise him in those middle overs to take on the spin of England. You've got the part-timer of Livingston. You've got Moeen Ali and Rashid. I think he's just got to come in and take that bowling on in those middle overs. And if he gets through that too, he could be a big win out that back end against Sam Curran with those little flicks off his legs to the short boundary. And also, Curran won't be able to protect himself with the left hand, right hand combination of having one bigger side on this particular field. So Pant has to come into this particular team. Sorry about Karthik, but I don't think Karthik, with his ramp shots on this particular oval with long boundaries behind him, are really going to come off. I think Pant's going to be the better option. So Pant will come into the team for India today. And as I said before, India are going to win. So let's get into the questions. Sorry about that. That went for 10 minutes, but it's finals time. There's 2 games that are getting played. And I had my notes there and I wanted to go through them. All right. Akash Boss, how you going? Hog, according to you, should Yuzi get a chance against England as the pitch will grip a little bit? Akash, I am really going to think deeply about this. Yuzi, I would love him to get an opportunity. I'm just thinking the lack of bounce there in Adelaide would play into the England's favour. You remember that you've got Liam Livingston there. Very good player against spin, especially when there's not that extra bounce. With that sweep shot to the short boundaries, I would worry about Yuzi in this particular circumstance. If it was at the MCG, I would consider playing Yuzi, definitely with the longer boundaries in front of probably Patel, because I just love the way that Ashwin goes about his business. He's got the different variety, and he can just bat as well as Patel down that lower order. And I just think he's got more variety and controlling power. But on this Adelaide surface, no, I think you've got to go with Patel as well as Ashwin. They're taller bowlers, might be able to get a bit of extra bounce as well, which makes it difficult, or a little bit more difficult, to play those sweep shots to the shorter boundary. The other thing is too, you've got to try and bowl a little bit shorter there, not short where you can get on the back foot and play the pull, but try and entice the batsman to go down and hit you straight to the longer boundaries. If they want to go to the short boundaries while they're charging you, we'll try and get them to play against the spin to the short boundary, where you bring Pant or Karthik in for the stumping. Good question there. You made me think, but Yuzi not at Adelaide Oval. Sorry about that, Akash. I know you're a big fan of him, but this is my analysis, and I can only say what my gut feeling says. Krishna Kumar Govind Darajolo. That is a very, very good name, and difficult for me to pronounce. Shubs, keep that name, and we're going to get it right next time we do a live. Do you think India needs 2 spinners in the team, considering the short side boundaries in Adelaide? England will try to sweep them out. I think they've got to go for those 2 spinners early on. I think the way that Arsdeep Singh and Bhuvneshwar Kumar bowling up front with that swing, I think it's been exceptional. I think they'll get early breakthroughs and they'll expose that middle order. I think you got Shami to bowl with the 2 spinners. You've got Hardik Pandya there. He's bowling with extreme pace as well. So you've got enough options there with the pace. Bring the spinners on, because if you go in there with one less spinner and Patel can handle the bat as well, it gives you extra batting depth if the spinners don't come off and you need to make those extra runs out the back end. But if you don't go in with 2 spinners and there's turn there, you'll regret that decision. So for me, you've got to have 2 spinners with your all-rounder Hardik Pandya there. But a very, very good observation there, Krishna Kumar, with the short boundaries here in Adelaide. I wouldn't go with 2 spinners with Yuzi because he's got the lack of bounce. The 2 other bowlers with that extra bounce, the 2 offies, I'd go with them. Shivam Mishra, what is preferred by batsmen, straight long boundary or side long boundary? Well, this is an interesting one. So if you're looking at England might start up with Stokes today. Hardik Pandya coming on to bowl as well. Both of those 2 particular bowlers like to bowl into the pitch and go shorter than fuller. When they go fuller, they seem to be a little easier to hit. Stokes, when he's opening the bowling, every now and gets it to swing, but if he doesn't get it to swing, all of a sudden they become easier targets because they have to try and change their natural length. When they go short, short boundaries come into play. But with the other bowlers, with the other bowlers that the batsmen have to face with the ball moving around, and they're bowling on that fuller length. Out Adelaide, the ball seems a little bit. It's very hard to be comfortably attack those short boundaries against the pace. So for me, sometimes the batsmen really struggle with those short boundaries. When it's against spin and there's lack of bounce on Adelaide Oval, you go for it, you love it, and the boundaries really lick their lips. But against pace, where it doesn't bounce as much and you're not comfortable playing the pull shot and you're just attacking the stumps as a bowler, it's very difficult. That's a good question, Shivan. Hey, Hoggy, this is Shubs. It seems as though Wood Milan might not play tomorrow. Okay, where did you get that from, Shubs? If you want to come on, Shubs, you can talk about that and tell me where you got that information from, because I thought Milan's not going to play tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that they'll try and get Wood up and fit for the occasion, because they need that extra pace. If they don't have Wood in this particular team, India are going to win the game easily. Milan, you might be able to get away with it, but Milan's loss as well, with the ball moving around through those tough moments, if you lose an early wicket, even makes it extra hard for England to get over the line today. So hopefully Wood's fully fit. Injury scare for both. Phil Salt might come in for Milan. Will Mills could come in for Wood. Yeah, I think, look, they're two good swaps coming in. England have got good depth in that regard, but how you use Mills while you're using Sam Curran in those death overs is going to be interesting, because Wood comes in, he's intimidating, he's got pace, whereas Mills doesn't really have the pace of Wood. So the Indian batsmen are going to be a little bit more comfortable with that. Tymel Mills is used out the back end as well, but Wood's used through those middle overs and just out the back of the power play to help put pressure on the batsmen, so they have to attack the spinners a little more as well at the other end. So for me, it's just the balance of that team that is out of kilter if they have to make those two changes. And Salt is not as defensive as Milan, and he can't control those tough situations as well as Milan, and then amp up the run rate out the back end. Milan, for me, until Virat Kohli started doing what he did in this T20 World Cup, was actually listed in my team as the best number 3 going around T20 international cricket just before this T20 tournament. So that statement just tells you that it's a big loss for England, and you need that solid number 3. All right, next question, please. Shubs, up and running. Show Hamrains. Soramarains. Right. What do you think about Rowett's form in the end of the tournament and also in the semi-final? Look, I'm a little bit worried about Rohit Sharma. I think he's just got too much on his plate at the moment. I think since he's been captain, I don't think I've seen the solid footwork that when he's at his best, he seems to be just hanging the washing. What I mean, outside off stump, what I mean by that is he's just hanging the bat outside off stump, and he's just hoping that he finds the middle. He doesn't seem a positive enough. That positive Rohit Sharma that we've seen evolved. I just see there's a little bit of doubt there. And I just think the pressure of captaincy has started to weigh on him, because it's a big tournament. India going into these semi-finals have had the best form. And Virat Kohli, Surya Kumar Yadav have been absolutely dominating. Rahul's just come of age as well. He's got 250s in the tournament. So you've got 3 of the leading run scorers in the Super 12s, and Rowett's not making a big impact. So I think that will also be playing on him as well, because even though it's a team game, sometimes when you get in those situations and you're not making an impact and you don't think you're providing what the team needs out the top of the order, I just think that adds more doubt as well and makes him a little bit more tentative. So for me, I just hope that he comes out knowing that Surya Kumar Yadav, Kohli, and Rahul are in tip-top shape, and just play attacking, back himself, forget that he's a captain while he's batting, and just go back to the road of old. Just swing by the bootlaces, have a bit of fun. And look, it's a bit like Babar Azam. He's been out of touch as well. And I heard Matty Hayden speak about Babar Azam early on, and he brought up Adam Gilchrist in the 2007 World Cup final over in the West Indies. He's struggled, and he was looking for an answer to find runs. He put a squash ball in his glove, which he uses for training, so that he's got a loose bottom hand. That little squash ball just took the mental challenges off his mind and made him focus on something else. All of a sudden, he was playing with that freedom, and he made 100 and won the game for Australia. So it's just finding a way, finding what works to create that mental edge, that mental freedom that Rohit needs. So for me, I just think there's a little bit too much pressure on Rohit at the moment. Anupama Dev Baram Burman, how are you going? Hello, sir. Do Australia should think for revamping their T20 team after such a disappointing World Cup? For me, I think they've got to revamp a lot. Actually, I think we've just had big issues over the last 12 months. Justin Langer's gone as coach. They wanted a new coach. The players got what they asked for, and for me, I just think the discipline has dropped off. I'm sorry about this, Australian players. I do love you, and but what I saw there was the fast bowlers' pace was slightly off than what they were when they were at their best. The batsmen weren't ready. There's one or two players there that aren't as fit as what they were beforehand. And for me, I just think the standards have dropped off. Yes, you can have the excuse that they were underprepared or they were doing too much beforehand, but that's where you organise your schedule. That's where you organise your team. How are we going to have the team fresh so that they can play, or our main 11 can play against England in the warm-up matches before we go into that T20 World Cup? Fresh, ready, ripe to go. I don't think Australia planned well before this series, and I don't think the players trained and looked after themselves as well as they should have. I don't think they were prepared like they have been over previous years. Also, just want to make a point about that. Surya Kumar Yadav, I heard Rahul Dravid talk about preparation and how Surya Kumar Yadav has improved. He's the most consistent batsman of a high strike rate that we've seen in T20 international cricket. It's a wonder how he's changed, how he turned his game around, look for that opportunity, moved to Mumbai Indians. Since he's had that leaf of life, he's really worked hard on his fitness. And Virat Kohli was big on fitness, and that's why India have been so dominant over the last couple of years, the team to beat. It's looking after your body, keeping yourself in shape, keeping yourself mentally fresh, and training for a purpose. Surya Kumar Yadav is doing all that, and that is why he's getting success in white ball format, and that's why I want to see him play Test cricket as well, because I think he can do some damage in that red ball format as well. He needs more opportunity in that regard. And a Papam, that is a very, very good question. Thanks very much for that. Who's up next, please, Shubs? Okay, Vanch. What would be an ideal 11 for India against England tomorrow? I don't think they have to do much. For me, I think you have Rahul Rohit, obviously, opening the batting, Virat Kohli coming in at number 3, Surya Kumar coming in at 4, but you have Pant coming in at 5. But what I'd do is, if the spin is on just after that 6th over and Wood's not playing, I'd have Pant in there and just go out there, try and take the spin on, and just sort of have him as a floater, someone that can go out, take a risk, give him that role, and let him play with that freedom. And when he does play with that freedom, and he can go out and play aggressive, and he doesn't have to think about saving his wicket. He can just play his natural game. He dominates. So for me, I'd have Pant as a floater there, but him to go out and attack the spin of England. The other thing there too is I'd have Hardik Pandya coming in at 6. Hang on, someone's just ringing me. And Hardik Pandya coming in at 6. Patel, Ashwin, Arshdeep Singh, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, and Shami. There we go. That's my 11. And that's going to absolutely annihilate England tomorrow on Thursday. Yep, tomorrow. Okay, that's all for today, is it, Shubs? Thanks very much. Hey, guys, thanks very much for joining me. I really enjoy the lives. And also, I want to put, I want you to get some ideas out for what vlogs you'd like me to do. And would you like me to do the longer vlogs, or are you enjoying the 1-minute vlogs as well? And the other thing is too, guys, I really love the interactions on Twitter. Yes, there are some comments that I make out there that are against your team, but sometimes when I make those comments, please just put on a neutral eye, because I'm not against any team. It's just what I see at that particular stage. I'm in the emotion of the game, and I want to see a fair contest. I'm not going for any particular team in this T20 World Cup. I'm just enjoying just seeing the stars, people rise to the occasion and play under pressure. I'm really loving what I'm seeing in this T20 tournament. There have been so many great moments, and that's what it's all about. It's bringing us together, not trying to push us away. And I've got to watch some of the comments too, how I actually worded as well. But thanks very much for following me, guys. Love you all. Love the fact that you love cricket, and good luck to your teams through this final series. Thanks very much for joining me.